Hey guys, welcome to Voc Rehab Bootcamp. I am Nick the Vet. All right, I've been away for a little while, but I started getting some emails from people asking specific types of questions that I find myself answering over and over again via email. So I figured I'd make a couple of quick videos to kind of bring you guys in on some additional information. And if you have any questions, let me know. This video is called Misconceptions, okay? Number one, do I need an attorney? And I'm going to try not to step on anybody's toes, but I will say this. When I first got denied, I went to YouTube and tried to find videos, and there were some really old videos and not really a lot of pertinent information. And one of the things that I came across was an attorney, a person who he went through Voc Rehab, got denied, fought him for 5 years or something, got it overturned, and they ended up paying for him to go to law school and all this stuff, and now he represents veterans, which is great. Okay, no issue there. The problem is, when I contacted him, what I found was that he basically told me I'll never get my case overturned and I need to hire him for $3,500 retainer. No problem with people charging what they feel like they're worth, but I didn't have $3,500 at the time. And I was like, well, can you just answer some questions? And after the initial consultation, I was just really encouraged to go to his Facebook and just ask other people and not really get any direct help. So as you know, I did all the stuff myself and figured things out on my own, and eventually got it overturned without an appeal. It took about 90 days, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 120. And here I am. So when somebody says, do I need an attorney? This is what I tell them. If you're not the kind of person who can sit down and look at all 10 of my videos, or, read all the information and, write everything down and be methodical and go in there and confront them. You have to confront them. There is no being super nice and timid, because the majority of them will lie right in your face, will deny you right in your face, knowing that you are entitled. And you have to be strong-willed enough to fight and say, no, based on the guidelines, it says this. So why did you deny me? I denied you because of elemental P. But that's not what it says in the guidelines. You can only deny me based on this criteria. So I need to see who I can speak with to get this overturned. If you're not that kind of person who's going to stand up like that, then you may need an attorney. I don't think the average person who really is confident standing up for themselves needs an attorney. I really don't. And I personally have a problem charging veterans for something that is free. I get charging people for your time, and I put a lot of time. People email me all the time and ask me for letters and how do I do this, and I take the time because I'm able and I have the time. And I'm happy to do it. But if it got to a point where I was getting 10 calls a day or something, I'd probably have to figure something else out. What I'd probably do is just make more videos. I don't still think I would charge anybody. But anyway, the point is, you really don't need an attorney, okay? Number two, people feel like the more service-connected disabilities they have and the more issues they have, the better their chance of getting approved. And that's just not true. The service-connected disability is not the employment handicap or the serious employment handicap. The service-connected disability and the issues that you're having as a result of the service-connected disabilities are called vocational impairments. Those are things that are hindrances to you being able to execute your job. But just because you have a bad foot, a bad knee, a bad wrist, emphysema, tinnitus, flat feet, lost an arm, all that stuff, doesn't mean that you're guaranteed. So a lot of people contact me and they give me a list. I got 55 things, so I know I'm entitled. And that's not it. Your employment handicap has to fall under these 3 categories listed here. And if you don't fall under these 3 categories, I don't care if you have 5,000 issues, you're not going to get Voc Rehab. And if you have been out of the military for over 12 years, you need a serious employment handicap, and then you have to qualify with these 9 issues here. Third misconception is that you can only apply once. A lot of people say, I already applied, and they feel like they have to go up the ladder to the appeal. You don't have to. You can, if you get denied the first time, you can just turn around and just wait till you get your denial and then go apply again. For me personally, when I applied, my counselor told so many lies And I had recorded the meeting because I live in a one-party consent state, which makes it perfectly legal. Make sure you check to see if you live in a one-party consent state before you go recording people. But my counselor had told so many lies that it benefited me to escalate up the chain and remind her supervisor and manager and director of all the lies she told, because it helped my case. If you go through the meeting with your counselor and they don't lie and they don't do anything shady, and you live in a two-party consent or an all-party consent state where you can't record it, and you don't feel confident fighting up the chain, then just come back, look at all these videos, gather all the information that you can, and then just reapply and go back in there with the knowledge that you didn't have the first time. I think that's probably easier than fighting up the chain. And since I have it here, this is my MacBook. I think they paid for the case too. I actually got a discount on this because I used to work at Apple a while back and I had a discount. So this is a $6,200 MacBook that I paid $4,900 for, and then they reimbursed me for it. So when people say you can't get a MacBook, yes, you can. And this is a MacBook Pro 15-inch. Bye-bye. So those are the 4 misconceptions. Number 1, that you need a lawyer. You don't. Number 2, the more service-connected disabilities you have, the better your chance of being approved. That's not true. Number 3, you can only apply one time. Not true. You can apply every month. Every time you get a denial, turn around and apply again. And number 4, that you cannot get a MacBook. Misconception. Pow. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick.